Gemini, hi, how's it going? I wanted to wait for Jupiter to officially have gone retrograde in your sign before we sit down and have this conversation. Inevitably, you know I'm going to say to you, get comfortable, roll your sleeves up, go to your happy place. Gemini, this doesn't mean that there is any less of an expansion taking place in your life right now. I think more so than anything, this is kind of saying to you, you know that happy place, right? Fellow Mercurial here, so I hope you know what I mean. There is this place when we're really in the flow of our electric mercurial essence, and in that place, I can say as a Virgo, and I'm pretty sure you can say as a Gemini, in that place there is this certain kind of magic. It's electric. Gemini, Six of Swords, the Knight of Cups, the Three of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles. So Gemini, I feel like there is this intellectual knowing, this reasoning, this conversation that repeatedly comes up. I feel like you've given yourself permission now to understand that the lessons that you have learned up until now of going through this particular thing, and to this point where Jupiter now goes into retrograde, it's almost like you get this green pass to move forward. It is go time. It's permission time. It's green light time. The lessons that you've learned, you know that you can move on, right? Knight of Cups. There is, of course, this emotional pull that comes with this. There is this place that I feel like somebody is asking you to either move in with them or a serious relationship or something. It's quite a significant emotional outreach. And I feel as if you are to take all of the lessons that you've learned about what it means to have to surrender yourself from false narratives or things that aren't necessarily the truth anymore, you know, you avoid rocky waters. So I would say, Gemini, take this invitation. I feel like there is something you have to be really careful of. The company that you keep. Because, you know, like poverty transference is a really, really bad, like it's a very real thing. It's a bad thing, of course, but it's a very real thing. And more often than not, it's a company that we keep that normally like can take someone who's riding a wave of like fortune and good luck and find that wave come really crashing because of the company that they've decided to maybe pollute their aura with. And if that's felt like that, if it's felt a little bit like that right now, I think you know now what it is that you're moving forward from. An objective look at the company that you keep and the effect that it has had on you and your abundance, your ability to manifest or generate money, or the feeling of confidence. Just be very aware of the pauper mentality people in your close circle, and if you really need to be around them, especially right now that Jupiter is in retrograde, where you are being asked to really strategize where it is that your fortune lies. Knight of Wands and the Two of Cups. I think there is something here about, you know, really loyal relationships getting a really passionate revival. And I feel like with Pluto going direct in the sign of Capricorn, this is giving everyone that hidden oomph of sex drive, right? And I feel like there is this passionate kind of pull distraction, joyous moment from this fiery Leo, Sagittarius, Aries energy. I feel like this fire sign is very much a soulmate. Very, very much a soulmate. And I feel like you might even be asked to move forward together after a period of maybe even like not real exclusivity in the relationship. I feel like you might be moving forward to like serious exclusivity. Sagittarius card and the 8 of Cups. There's a lot of moving on energy for you, Gemini. I feel like this retrograde in the sign of Gemini of Jupiter is going to be one of those moments, like with Mercury entering Scorpio also, where you're really going to have to make some decisions about what it is that you know you need to change up in your life, and where it is that you're surrendering yourself from certain like emotional setups that just don't satiate anymore. You're going to kind of have to get into cocktail making mode about where it is that you know you need to stir up certain emotions within yourself to get excited about life again. To get to that flow state place where life just feels magnetic and magical. And I feel like by the time that Venus enters Sagittarius and then there's this full moon in Aries, there's a revival to your relationship. So all of the shakeups that you want to make right now, all of the changes that you want to make right now, move away from what you know not to be emotionally satisfying for you. The 9 of Wands and the Empress card. Bottom of the deck is the 9 of Swords. Sometimes it takes a really brutal wake-up call to how we like have this self-fulfilling prophecy about repetitive loops of negativity that you find yourself in cycles of, because you're really not willing to kind of look at how sometimes you become a magnet to those certain experiences by lingering in that thought, that feeling, that form of like almost emotional neglect or intellectual neglect to things that need addressing, Gemini. You know that moving on and the invitation to move on and whatever that entails and wherever that means you're going is just the right kind of invitation, right? It's come just in the right time and you wanted this and you needed it and it is here now, okay? It's a substantial love offer and it is one that you know that you deserve, right? I feel like you've learned enough to be able to say that where you're moving forward to now and who you're moving forward with, you guys may have really had to go from rock bottom to better places. And I feel like you need to keep in check like how there's no third party interference in this situation, like other people in each other's ears. And how like if you really wanted to release certain thought forms and fears, including poverty or lack mindset, there is this passionate new beginning that happens in love if you're willing to alchemize and change up the situation by moving forward with a burdensome cycle that you may have felt like was something that was just painful, but ultimately it gave you enough to create a barrier between you and the rest of the world. Ultimately, Gemini, this, I don't even want to say this is October's reading. This feels more like a transit reading of like Jupiter going into retrograde. And ultimately, this is really about you beginning to value yourself again and give yourself the respect and the honor that you know that you are inherently worth and worthy of. And somewhere along the line, there were certain moving on from certain like thought forms, relationships, life phases that literally needed you alchemizing and getting the help that you needed to transform a situation. And I feel like this is a successful month in relationships as long as you're willing to make the changes and as long as you're willing to make the movements to move forward. And that's what this retrograde is about for you. Where it is that you know that you need to let go and move forward, and where it is you're moving forward to being a place that leads you to you honoring and valuing the truth of your honor and value. It's about you prioritizing you and this relationship, but not at the cost of yourself. No. We've done that before and it never worked, so it's not something we're doing again. Okay? Kind of have to go at it from an Empress approach. Gemini, I think that's all I have for you. If you enjoyed the reading, do give it a thumbs up. It's getting cold in London, man. Oh. Book a reading, rubyreadstarot.com. All donations made to the channel are so greatly appreciated. They help keep the heating on. Nice one.